Hello, I'm Sensei Frank, and welcome back to Tech Tiger Martial Arts. The move you've just seen is alternating maces. It's a self-defense move against a two-handed push. Today we will be going over this move in quite some detail to help make your martial arts work for you. Let's begin. So the first part of the move is simply being able to put ourselves in that defensible position. And there are two things that we need to be looking at. The first is the 45-degree drop down into that fighting forward bow stance. And the second is the ability to put our hands in a defensible position. Now, in order to do this, we need to look at what is known as the bracing angle. And there are two forms of it that we're going to be looking at in detail. The first is the bracing angle of the body. Now the attack is a two-handed push. So when the attacker comes and he pushes me back, I need to be able to establish distance control and balance at the same time. And this is why it's very important for us to study the back step. Now, the back step, we want to drop the body down at a 45-degree angle into that fighting forward bow stance automatically. So we want to step and drop. Now that I have established the bracing angle, I have stability against the force, or if I need to move, I have mobility against the force. That 45-degree drop down is essential to making your martial arts work. It will help you in all your moves all the time. The second bracing angle we need to look at is the arm. Now, if I put my arm at a 90-degree angle and someone pushes it, it is quite weak and it will collapse. So in order to get the correct bracing angle, we want to bring the hand to the hip and just simply raise it up. From this position, we have the bracing angle of the arm, and it just makes it harder for our attacker to collapse us. The second thing we need to do is we need to learn how to trace out the rim of protection. We find the rim of protection in kata short one. In the opening, we come 1, 2, and the hands come up. They don't come way out here like this. What they do is they trace out this part of our body so that no matter what happens, we're in a protected position. We can block inside or we can block outside. So combined together with the back step, we trace the rim of protection and we set our hands in a fighting position. So now that we have established the defensible position, the second part of the move we want to focus on is the inward block. But the most important part of this is the ability to develop the directional harmony principle. Now, after I have established the back step and the rim of protection, my left hand is now in position to pull to the hip at a 45-degree angle downward. My right hand is also able to pivot at a 45-degree angle downward into that inward block. But the most important part is allowing the body to also drop down at a 45-degree angle into that fighting horse stance. So I establish the defensible position. The left hand pulls down at a 45-degree angle. The right hand strikes down at a 45-degree angle, and I sit into that fighting horse stance at that 45-degree angle. So I go 1, 2. And then you return. So now that we have established the bracing angle of the arms and the body, and we are using the directional harmony principle for that first strike by pulling the left hand in and striking with the right, we are now going to see why this move is called alternating maces. When we do alternating maces, the hands are going to switch positions and do the opposite job of the other hand. In the beginning, the left hand is pulling and the right hand is striking. Now they're going to switch positions. The right hand's going to grab and pull, and the left hand is going to strike. But there's one more thing that's very important, and that's the ability to develop the strike with backup mass. And in American Kenpo Karate, we have an idea called conservation of energy. So as we have established the inward block with the directional principle harmony, we see that the body has loaded up power in this back leg. And now what we want to do is we want to use this power and shoot the reverse punch. The body swings in and it pushes forward, and then the hand comes out. So 1, 2. The right hand pulls at the same time. So when you develop here, 1, 2, the right hand pulls at the same time. And that's why it's called alternating maces. Now we have one more section to go in this move, and then the end. Now the fourth part of the move is the back fist. But there is a principle known as the elastic coil. We are always trying to use the energy stored up in the body to allow the next weapon to come forward. So we established the bracing angle, directional harmony principle with the right inward block, the backup mass principle, pulling and punching with that left reverse punch. And now the body is coiled up here and it needs to come out. So we go back into that fighting horse stance, and the left hand and the right hand comes out with that back knuckle. So the body's coiled up and the right hand snaps out with that back knuckle. This is very important because we are just learning how to move from one position to the next without stopping, losing energy or power and speed. And this is why American Kenpo is so great, because it wants to always be able to establish speed and power and get stronger and stronger and stronger along the way. So the last part, we look at the bracing angle, the inward block using directional harmony, the left reverse punch using the backup mass of the body, the right hand pulling in. And now that the body is coiled, it wants to pop. Just whip out with that back knuckle. The elastic coil. Now the end of the move is called the post-reaction of the fight. Just because you hit somebody doesn't mean the fight's over. Just because you're able to accomplish a move doesn't mean the fight's over. We always need to reestablish ourselves in a defensible position so that whatever happens next, we could be ready for. Now, it's very common in American Kenpo to do the double cross out and look. I myself, in the beginning, I just simply tell my students to take a couple of steps back. Look around, take a couple of steps back. You don't want to allow to travel everywhere. You don't want to be backing up into something. You don't want someone to catch you off guard. So I just simply take a couple of steps back for that post-reaction of the fight. Alternating maces is an amazing move. There's so much more that we could talk about and just go over. I probably got like 4 or 5 hours just on this one move alone, because You could apply all the principles and concepts in American Kenpo within this move. Moves aren't basic, and they're not hard, and they're not basic. What they are just a path by which we learn how to deal with the situation. The more techniques you're able to apply, the better the skill sets you're able to apply, the greater that move will be. Don't miss these moves as, beginning moves. They are not. These moves themselves can take you to those higher levels. Practice diligently and train with purpose.